Hi, I'm Chris McBrien.
And I'm Derek Myers.
Here at Pop Goes Your World, we've received a lot of great feedback on how much people enjoy the trivia segments that we do at the end of every episode.
So we've decided to go back and put together compilations of the Fun with Yancy and Fun with Caveman segments we've done over the years as a set of bonus episodes.
We hope you enjoy the fun. Episode 87, Unbreakable Movie Review.
Fun with
Caveman. I think I need to have a beverage, if you don't mind, in order to do this segment with you.
I've been sneaking mine all the way.
Okay,
now,
that's the best thing.
In a previous podcast, I think one of the very first times I guessed it on this pod. Now, when I have a beverage, I like to have it in a glass with lots of ice.
You can't drink that when you're recording. What are you doing?
When you drink that when you're recording, you hear the ice clinking around in the glass. And you gave me that feedback. You're like, hey, if you want to have a drink when you're doing this, that's fine, but you got to cut out the ice cubes. So,
or have a beer like me and just open it on the air.
Yeah,
all good.
I made sure that my beverage was nice and cold and I didn't need ice cubes. So,
nice.
While you're opening yours, I'm taking the last sip of mine.
Still amaretto and Coke? Is that the beverage of choice?
Not tonight. I moved on to something a little different, a little more seasonal, but yeah. Anyone who's going to get me a Secret Santa, Di Serrano, it's my beverage of choice.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple questions related to this film. Okay,
fire away.
Just in general. Now, one person that we did not talk about in this movie was Robin Wright, and I thought she was fantastic in this movie. She's pretty much good in everything.
I was just about to say, Chris, is there anything she's been in that you didn't like her performance?
Her marriage with Sean Penn.
Yeah, you could call that a performance.
I'll do that. But other than that, she was obviously in this movie, because she played Audrey Dunn, Bruce Willis's character's wife. But my question to you is, in what movie did Robin Wright make her feature film debut in?
I'm fairly certain that's the movie I was watching a mere 2 hours ago, The Princess Bride.
Yes, it is. Congratulations. It was The Princess Bride. A nice, easy one to start you off. We're going to flip things over and talk about Samuel L. Jackson for a second here, because he made one of his first screen appearances as a man holding up people as an armed robber in an Eddie Murphy film. Can you name the movie?
Yeah. Coming to America.
That's correct. Yes, it was. In the McDowells, I should say.
McDowells.
It was the
they have the Big Mac. We have the Big Nick.
Big Nick. They have 12 beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese on a sesame seed bun. Our buns have no seeds. Okay. You mentioned you're a huge comic book collector. You said 6,000 comic books?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Unbelievable. Now, obviously, some of these comic books out there, they can be worth a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Can you name the most valuable comic book in the world?
I have to believe it's Action Comics #1, the first appearance of Superman.
Very good. Bonus marks if you know how much that a copy sold for at auction in 2014.
I want to say about 1.8 million.
$3.2 million. Wow. Unbelievable.
Chris, ask me how many of those I have in my collection.
How many?
Exactly 0.
How many Richie Rich Billions number 74 do you have, though? I got you there. Okay.
I have the same amount of Action Comics as I have Richie Rich.
Okay. So one thing we mentioned before about, you said that, this movie wasn't a huge hit. And if you actually take a look at the box office of that year, a couple movies that finished ahead of it were things like, Big Mama's House, The Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps, and What Lies Beneath. But What Lies Beneath, do you remember that movie?
I never saw it, but I do know of the movie.
Oh, God, it was awful. It was terrible. I don't know how that movie made more money than anything else. Anyway, so the movie was not a humongous success. It was made for $75 million, and it only made $95 million, so it made a little bit of money. But what I'd like you to do, this is a tough one. These questions get harder as we go. In order, I'd like you to name M. Night Shyamalan's top 3 grossing films. 1, 2, and 3, go.
It's got to be The Sixth Sense, #1.
That's number 1. That's correct.
Are we talking just about the movies he directed or movies he has a credit on?
No, movies he directed.
Okay, so Stuart Little is out because he didn't direct it. He just had screenwriting credit. Okay, so you want the next 2. Was Unbreakable? No, maybe Split. Let's go with Split.
No, I'm sorry. The next one is Signs.
Yeah.
And then The Village, surprisingly enough.
Really?
Yeah, The Village made lots of money. Even crappy movies make a lot of money. Speaking of crappy movies, Bruce Willis has never been nominated for an Oscar, but he has, however, been nominated for several Razzies for the worst performance. Can you name any of the 6 films for which he's been nominated for a Razzie. Just you name one of them. Just name one. Six movies he's been nominated for a Razzie for. Worst performance. Just name one.
The whole 9 yards.
No, I'm sorry. That's not
the
correct.
whole 10 yards.
No, not right. Hudson Hawk from 91. Remember that? God, that
Chris,
was
that's
bad.
on TV tonight.
What's
It is
that?
on TV tonight.
Oh,
Hudson Hawk, I saw in the lineup.
In 1994, he was nominated for both North and Color of Night. And in 1998, he was nominated for 3 films, The Siege, Mercury Rising, and of course, Armageddon.
Oh, not Armageddon. He was great.
Now, for your final question. Earlier,
Yep.
I mentioned rather controversially Adrian Brody's performance in The Village because he went full as a reference to Robert Downey Jr.'s scene in Tropic Thunder only. So, Caveman, in Tropic Thunder, what other actor did Robert Downey Jr. refer to as having gone full?
Sean Penn.
Yes, he did. Bonus if you can name the movie that he was in.
Sam I Am.
Yeah, I Am Sam.
I Am Sam.
Very good. Remember,
That was so close.
Remember that he went home empty-handed. Remember?
Yep.
God, his
Yep.
performance was good. God, I'm not a huge, I'm not a big Robert Downey Jr. fan overall, but man, in that movie Tropic Thunder, God,
He was good. He was really good.
unbelievable. Man, oh man, was he good in that movie. Anyway, so that there it is. So congratulations, you got most of them. You know, you got most of them. You did a few, missed a few, but that's okay. I got to stump you from time to time. Episode 88. Yancy Says Goodbye.
Fun with Yancy.
So this is kind of like a last kind of kick in the can. We will have you back from time to time, but every week I like to have you do this segment, Fun with Yancy. It's something I look forward to every week. I really enjoy it. And we mentioned at the top of the show that, we've spent a lot of time together. We've been podcasting together since, I think we started in January 2016, right? We were doing Dear Mr. Fantasy. We did the podcast. In July of 2016, I left that show. I started up Pop Goes Your World. You came over. We did this together. Been nominated for 3 podcast awards together, which is pretty amazing. 1 for DMF, like I said before, 2 here. And Derek, feel free to jump into this conversation at any time. We're going to have some fun with Yancy here. But one of the objectives that I would say that I've had on this podcast was basically, Yancy, to get you to know and hopefully respect in some way some of the pop culture from Generation X. So now with your kind of departure, what I'd like to do is I'd like to kind of see how much of this has kind of stuck with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you through your paces tonight, young man, and I'm going to quiz you on some of the stuff that we have covered in this podcast over the last 2.5 years. I want to see basically how much that you have learned and how much you've retained about Generation X through your tenure here on the show.
Good luck, Yancy.
I can say right now, this is going to go predictably bad.
This is going to be awesome. And just for this, I got to open a beer. I got to have a beer.
I need to take a big swig of mine too.
Let's have a drink because this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so Yancy, I'm going to quiz you on basically these are all things that we have mentioned on the podcast. So none of this is new. This is nothing like that. You're like, whoa, we never talked about this. This is all things we've talked about on the podcast over the last 2.5 years. I'm trying to make you remember this stuff. Let's see how well.
No trick questions, right?
No trick questions. None at all.
Okay.
Saturday Night Live. Okay, now Yancy, it might suck now, but it used to be like the greatest thing on TV. Yes, SNL actually, it started out as, it was called NBC's Saturday Night. It started like back in October of 1975. And it basically gave people a reason to stay home on Saturday night, And
aside from Cops.
Well, of course, that's in the Yancy household, but that was more in the 90s, right? But back in the 70s, this show was everything. And one of the biggest appeals of the show was this incredible ensemble cast that they put together. And they were called the Not Ready for Primetime Players. Yancy, can you name any one of the original 7 cast members of Saturday Night Live?
Dan Aykroyd.
Very good. Okay.
Chase.
Yes.
What's the woman? The real popular woman. She has a weird name. She has like a
Let me know if
Slavic
you're
name.
a friend there, buddy.
Caveman, you got this. I know. As soon as you say her name, it's going to infuriate.
There's a cancer support group named after
Radner.
Gilda
That's it.
Radner.
Yep.
That was her name. Yep.
Jane Curtin, Lorraine Newman were also on the show, and you didn't mention my favorite one of all time, John Belushi, but good for you. And Garrett Morris also was on the show. I would not have. It was kind of funny. I thought you might have went with Bill Murray on that one, but he didn't join the show until the second season after Chase left. So, okay. Anyway, so you got it. Good for you. Okay, 16 Candles. The movie 16 Candles.
Right.
Made you watch it, all right? What was the name of the Oriental exchange student that came to live with the Bakers?
Was it? No.
He was played
by... It's Duck Dong, Long Duck... what is it?
So close.
Long Dong Duck.
Oh, so close.
So close.
Long Duck Dong?
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, I was incredibly distasteful and awful. So yeah, there we go.
Long Duck Dong is absolutely Geddy Watanabe's character's name. Good for you. Took a little bit of getting them, you got it there. Okay, in the Goonies. I made you watch the Goonies, okay? Can you name the criminal family that was chasing the kids through the cave in search of One-Eyed Willie's treasure? What was their last name?
It's very Italian. Very Italian. It's like the Ampanellis or...
It's Mama... No.
Mama... I don't know, Caveman. What is it?
I think it's Fratelli.
Yes, it's the Fratellis. Mama Fratelli.
We're close, Yancy. It definitely has a very Italian sound to it.
Yeah, it's Italian sound. It's the Mussolinis, okay? All right, let's see how well you have been paying attention over the years, young man. We have reviewed on this show, you and I have reviewed Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We've reviewed Episode 8, The Last Jedi, here on the show. But Yancy, what was the very first film in George Lucas's space fantasy epic?
The first film?
Yes.
Just Star Wars?
No, I was going to say, if you come on, if you say Episode 4, A New Hope, I'm going through the microphone, young man.
I was going to say, you said no trick questions.
Exactly.
Why do I feel like I'm dying inside?
No, because I thought maybe you might have said, well, it's Episode 4, A New Hope. No, it's not. It's Star Wars from 1977. As you know, I've been hammering that home since day one on this podcast, that there is no such thing as Episode 4, A New Hope. That all that crap is stupid. It's Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. And as far as I'm concerned, they should have stopped making Star Wars movies in 1983. We'll move on. Okay. As you may know, and as anyone who's listened to this podcast probably knows, I've been known to sing from time to time here on the show. Not well, but I've sung a few bars of some of my favorite songs over the years around here, Yancy. So can you name the 1983 song that features international recording superstars MC Micro G and DJ Sven, and so they sample an early Madonna song? So can you name the song? I've been known to sing it from time to time.
I was going to say, you've sang it multiple times. It's appeared on multiple top 5 lists. I can't remember the name, and to be honest with you, some things are better left forgotten. I can't.
Jeez. Caveman, you want to help him out? What's the name of the song?
It is the Holiday Rap.
Yes, we're going to ring rang-a-dong for a holy day. Put your arms in the air. Let me hear you say.
Let me hear you say.
Exactly.
Yeah, come on.
This song gets so. I still stand by this. That this song has gotten 10,000 times more play than it ever really should have.
It's so good, though. My God, it's so good. Okay, Yancy, what's the name of the game? You know, I love game shows, right? I'm a big game show fan.
Who doesn't?
I know game shows are the best. Can you name the game show that was huge in the 70s? It featured the host, Gene Rayburn, and it also featured contestants that were trying to come up with answers to fill in the blank questions, with the object being to match answers given by celebrity panelists. What was the name of that show?
Hollywood Squares.
No. I'll give you a hint. There's a current iteration of the show that for the millennial generation, for you guys, that's starring Alec Baldwin.
Really?
I don't know.
It's Match Game. Jeez. Oh, jeez. All right. In the 1987 classic film that I made you watch here on the show, Yancy, The Princess Bride. Okay? Billy Crystal almost stole the show from it with his over-the-top performance as the medicine man who brings Wesley back to life. Yancy, what was the name of Billy Crystal's character in The Princess Bride?
There's no chance I get this. I'm not even going to waste your time.
I know. Yeah, oh, come on. All right. Derek, what is it?
Miracle Max.
Yes, it's Miracle Max. Of course it is.
Okay. Storming the castle.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a lovely mutton. Okay. After our first 34 episodes, Yancy, we decided to kind of change things up, right? And what we decided to do was we kind of went back and forth and made each other watch movies. right, from our respective generations, as we mentioned earlier. And back on episode 35, I nominated the very first of these movies from my generation for you to watch. So, Yancy, can you remember and name the very first movie that I made you watch for this podcast from Generation X?
Holy cow. I can't remember what I had for dinner.
It was from 1974.
Is it Airplane?
No, can you think back a little bit further? That was in 1980. It was a comedy.
Airplane.
No, unfortunately, it was Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, it was Blazing Saddles.
I would have got there.
Speaking of which, now you remember, though, you watched the movie. You enjoyed it, right? You remember it?
It was funny. It had an amazing final act that I was not expecting.
What was the name of Gene Wilder's character in Blazing Saddles? Do you remember that?
I do not.
He was the alcoholic that was locked up in jail. Remember before that he was like a famous gunslinger in the Wild West? What was his character's name?
No idea.
It's the Waco Kid, okay? All right. In the 1978 comedy classic Animal House that I made you watch, can you name the fraternity that Bluto, Otter, Flounder, and D-Day belonged to? It was nicknamed the Animal House, but what was the official name of their fraternity, Yancy?
It's like plastered on the front of the building. Mm-hmm. I think it's even on like the cover of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a symbol. It's a Greek symbol.
I don't know. Caveman, do you know what it is?
I don't. I think it's Delta House.
Yes, it is the Delta House.
Oh!
All right,
wow,
well,
pulled that one out of my butt.
Good for you. Okay, speaking of college comedies, we already mentioned this earlier. I made you watch 1984's Revenge of the Nerds, right? And the nerds in the movie, they were shunned by every single college fraternity in the country except one. UN Jefferson, if you remember. Remember, he sort of grudgingly accepted them into his national fraternity. Yancy, what was the name of the fraternity that the nerds joined?
This is so hard. You were a liar.
Come on, this one's not hard.
You said that this was like simple stuff.
It's easy.
I know it had something to do with like they were like, wasn't it like the Black Negro League or like?
It was not the Black Negro League. No.
What was it?
It was Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. Remember the Tri-Lambs? You don't remember that? Oh my God!
Wasn't it like
everybody? Yeah, except for Lambda, Lambda, Lambda. Here's a group that'll see us. Was it Lambda, Lambda, Lambda?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
They can become probationary Tri-Lambs. Okay, I've mentioned this many times on the podcast about my 3 favorite movies of all time. I've also mentioned, Yancy, that these 3 movies are kind of interchangeable. So no movie is really number 1, number 2, or number 3. They're just my top 3 movies of all time. Can you remember, Yancy, can you name my top 3 movies of all time?
Top 3 movies?
Yep.
I'm going to say Return of the Jedi.
1975, 77, and 81, if that helps you at all. My top 3 favorite movies of all time. I've mentioned them so many times that these are my top 3 favorite movies, and not really in any particular order.
Blues Brothers?
Yeah. Okay, well, you've obviously not been paying attention because it's...
Can I guess?
Go for it. Cave, what do you think?
Star Wars, 1977.
Yep.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981.
Yep.
And I wanted to say Jaws, but you said it was 1975, and I think Jaws was a lot later than that.
No, it wasn't. It was Jaws. It was Jaws, Star Wars, and Raiders of the Lost Ark are my 3 favorite movies of all time. Okay, we're going to go all the way back. This is the last one, Yancy, and then I'll put you out of your misery. All the way back to episode 1, The Generation Gap, the first time we ever turned on the microphone and did a show together. We each mentioned a song that defined our generation. Yancy, you mentioned Radiohead's Everything in Its Right Place as the song that defined the millennial generation.
Yes.
But what song did I mention that I felt best defined Generation X?
Oh.
I'll give you a hint. It was from a movie that probably was the most defining film of Generation X as well.
This is going to kill me. Not Talking Heads.
Was it the holiday rap?
Oh, this is going to hurt so bad, Chris. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. Give me a second. Let me think through this. It's from 16 Candles, isn't it?
No, it's not from 16
Chris,
Candles.
Say something.
No, it's not from 16 Candles. It's from The Breakfast Club. It's Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds.
I would have gotten there. That's really
well, so, but you didn't get there. So, I spent 2.5 years trying to drill all this stuff into your head, and none of it stuck. But I bet you if the tables were turned and you asked me stuff about that stupid Interstellar, I probably wouldn't remember any of that stuff either. So I guess after 2.5 years of trying, I guess we could just both go back to the drawing board at this point. Episode 89, 2018, In Memoriam.
Fun with Caveman.
Okay, I just wanted to in trying to be fully transparent here with the show, not to tell tales out of school or anything, Caveman, but I just want to let everyone know that about a week ago or so, you sent me a text and you were like, "Oh man, what a bummer! Jack Klugman died." And then I look at this and I'm typing back to you, and I was just going to type back and go, yeah, in 2012. And then you're like, oh, sorry, wait a minute. I just noticed that he died a couple of years ago. And I was like, so it's just so funny that you sent me that. And it made me think, and not to be morose or anything like that, but I thought to have some fun with you here, I thought, it kind of struck me like, hey, how people are sometimes kind of fooled by people that they're like these celebrity deaths, right? Like, oh, so-and-so died. Well, like ages ago or whatever. So I thought what I do is I'll play a little game with you. It's very easy. 50-50. You can do this. It's so simple. I'm going to mention a celebrity, and all you got to do is tell me if he's alive or dead. Okay?
Okay.
That's it.
Sounds easy.
Easy. Is the celebrity alive or dead? So you mentioned Jack Klugman, right? And I mentioned
he's
the
dead.
Odd Couple.
He's dead. I know that one.
He's dead. We know
I looked it up.
Yeah, he's dead. And we mentioned the Odd Couple. What about his co-star Tony Randall? Is Tony Randall alive or dead?
Ooh. Dead.
Yes, he died in 2004. That's correct. All right. I mentioned icons of television. Dick Van Dyke. Is Dick Van Dyke alive or dead?
No, he's alive because I believe he's in the new Mary Poppins movie.
He is alive. You are correct. That's right. Okay, so we mentioned a lot of other 70s and 80s TV shows. One of my favorites of all times had Don Knotts in it. Is Don Knotts alive or dead?
No, I gotta think he's dead.
Yeah, he died in 2006. That's right. Okay, speaking of 70s TV shows, I love The Love Boat. So what about Gavin MacLeod? Is Gavin MacLeod alive or dead? Captain Stubing.
I don't know who that is. I'm gonna say he's alive.
Yes, he is alive. He's 88 years old. Okay, I mentioned Superman. I made my son watch Superman. Gene Hackman was in that. Is he alive or dead?
Ooh. I gotta think Gene Hackman's still alive.
Yes, he is. He's 88 years old. I mentioned Gavin MacLeod being in The Love Boat, but he was also in another show, The Mary Tyler Moore Show with Ed Asner. Is Ed Asner alive or dead?
I seem to remember him making a TV appearance in something I watched a couple of years ago. I think he's still alive.
He is. I actually just saw him in a play last summer. He's out doing a one-man tour, a tour of a one-man play. A Man and His Prostate. It was great. I had front row seats to it. It was great. Okay, we're talking about the 70s. We're talking about Happy Days earlier. What about Marion Ross? Marion Ross, alive or dead?
She played the mom, right?
Yes.
I gotta think she's probably dead.
Nope, she is still alive. Oh. She's 90 years old, believe it or not.
Wow, good for her.
Yeah, here's an oldie. Omar Sharif. Omar Sharif.
Omar Sharif? I gotta think Omar Sharif's dead.
Yeah, he died in 2015. Okay, I mentioned a lot of 70s TV shows, but the 80s had some good TV shows too, like The Golden Girls. Rue McClanahan. Is Rue McClanahan alive or dead?
No, Rue McClanahan is dead.
That is correct. She died in 2010. Sidney Poitier. Sidney Poitier, alive or dead?
I think he's still alive.
He is. He's 91, and they still call him Mr. Tibbs.
Yes.
I mentioned a couple weeks ago, we did a review of 16 Candles. Paul Dooley, one of my favorite actors, Canadian. Is Paul Dooley alive or dead? He played the dad.
I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm going to say he's dead.
No, he is still kicking. 90 years old, man. Very good.
Wow.
Okay, what about Max von Sydow? Max von Sydow from Flash Gordon.
Well, again, he's another one. We haven't seen him in a while, but I don't necessarily know if he's dead. I'm going to say he's not dead.
He is still alive. He's 89 years old. Okay, very good. Gregory Peck. Remember Gregory Peck?
No, he's got to be dead.
Yes, he is. He died. Another TV staple back in the 80s was Larry Hagman. Remember him from Dallas?
Oh, yeah, J.R. Ewing.
Yeah, is he alive or dead?
And from I Dream of Jeannie.
Yes, he was. Alive or dead?
Unfortunately, he passed recently. Well, not even that recently. I think he passed a while ago.
Yeah, he did. Okay, we mentioned earlier one of my favorite movies is Stroker Ace, right? What about Jim Neighbors? Jim Neighbors, alive or dead?
I don't know. I'm going to say dead.
Yes, he is. He died, unfortunately. We want to go way back. Let's go to black and white TV. Let's go back to the Addams Family, okay? John Astin. John Astin, alive or dead?
I think he's still alive.
He is. He's 88 years old. And the last one it'll be an easy one. Robert Duvall. Is Robert Duvall alive or dead?
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
Yeah, you did very good. Very good.
Nice. I only missed a couple.
You only missed a couple.
I guessed on quite a few of those, let me tell you.
Well, it was a 50-50, so it was easy enough. So, that. Episode 90. What TV show should I binge watch next?
Fun with Caveman.
Okay, guys, so here's what we're going to do. Justin, since you're a fantasy baseball guy, and Derek, since you're like a Vegas guy, you like betting and odds and that kind of thing, you guys understand the concept of over-under, right? So we're going to do a game with that. First of all, I should mention, when it comes to seasons of a TV series, there's a phenomenon that's happened in the millennial generation that just irks me. And this idea, I think it's ever since Survivor came out and started doing like two runs of episodes a year, and they call them seasons. So then it's like Survivor's been on for like 35 seasons. No, it's been on for 15 years. You know what I mean? Like it's like, so that's always irked me. But I'm talking about TV seasons here. And what I want to do is I'm going to give you the over-under. I'm going to set the over-under at 5.5. All right? Because then we know, because it can't be an even number. It's got to be over or under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth with you guys. I'm going to give you a TV series, and I want you to tell me if the over-under on the number of seasons that it ran is over or under 5.5. Pretty simple, right? You got it?
Yep.
Okay, so Justin, I'll start with you. Lost, over or under 5.5?
Oh, God. I have seen Lost, and it has 7 seasons. I'm going to go over.
Okay, you are right. It's over. It's 6 seasons. Okay,
6 seasons.
Caveman, The Love Boat, over or under 5.5 seasons?
I really hope it was under.
No, it's 10 years. It was over.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, Justin, here's an easy one for you. It's right in your wheelhouse, too. The Sopranos. Did The Sopranos run over or under 5.5 seasons?
Over.
You're correct. It ran for 6. All right. Caveman, WKRP in Cincinnati. Over or under 5.5 seasons?
I want to say it ran 5 seasons, so I'm going to say under.
It is under. It only ran 4, though. Okay. All right. Justin, I know you're a little bit younger, but still, I want to give you an old one to see how well you know Happy Days. Did Happy Days run over or under 5.5?
Ooh, this is a tough one because I have never seen. I've seen episodes of Happy Days, but I've never watched like full seasons of it. I'm gonna say that it was under.
No, it was 11 seasons. It was over. Sticking with the 80s, Caveman, I'll give you an easy one. Night Court. Over or under 5.5 seasons for Night Court?
Way over. I think it ran like 10 seasons.
It ran 9 seasons. You're correct.
I love Night Court, by the way.
Going with the 80s. You like the 80s, right, Justin? You're into that?
I'm not into it, but I watched it on syndication when I was a kid.
All right. Well, if you liked syndication shows when you were a kid, then tell me, over or under 5.5 seasons for Saved by the Bell?
Oh, it's over 5.5.
No, it was only 4 seasons. Only 4 seasons long. All right, Caveman, we're going back to the 70s. I want you to tell me Charlie's Angels. Did it run over or under 5.5 seasons?
Oh, I'm going to say under.
Yes, it was 5 seasons, just under. All right, Justin, the 80s were a great time for TV shows, and none was better maybe than Knight Rider. Did Knight Rider go over or under 5.5 seasons?
Oh, my God. I've never seen an episode of Knight Rider. I've only seen it as a joke on other things. I'm going to say it went over.
No, it was only 4 seasons. It was under. I'm sorry. Okay, Caveman, here's one for you from the 80s. Perfect Strangers with Balky. Over or under 5.5?
Oh. I would be shocked to learn that that's over, so I'm going to say under.
It was over, went 8 seasons from 86 to 93.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, Justin, sticking with the 80s into the 90s, who's the boss? Who's the boss? Over or under 5.5?
I'm going to say it went over.
It did. It lasted for 8 seasons. So very good. All right, let's stick with the 80s for a little bit. Caveman, Alf. Alf, over or under 5.5?
I don't know. Under.
Yes, it was. It only ran for 4 seasons. All right, Justin, The Wonder Years, over or under 5.5 seasons?
I have to believe a show as popular as The Wonder Years went more than over. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, it did, just barely by 6. All right, let's go Caveman with the A-Team. Over or under? 5.5.
No, I got to say that's under.
Yeah, it was. It was only 5 seasons. All right, Justin, we're going to go way back. Let's see if you can remember this one from the 70s into the 80s. Three's Company. Three's Company, over or under 5.5?
I'd like to point out the fact that I was born in 1984, so but I'm going to say that it was over.
Yes, it was. It ran 8 seasons. It ran from 1976 until the year you were born in 1984. Caveman, Designing Women, over or under 5.5 seasons?
Over.
Yes, it ran for 7 seasons. All right, Justin, this one is, it's going back a little bit far for you, but how about the Dukes of Hazzard? The Dukes of Hazzard, over or under 5.5?
I'm going to say under.
No, it ran for 7 seasons from 79 to 85. All right, I got a tough one for you, Caveman, because these ones I want to try and trick you. Remington Steele, over or under?
I would think that probably went under 5.
It did,
under 5.5.
Just barely. It was 5 seasons. All right, this was a bit of a tough one, but probably way before your time, Justin, it was. But The Muppet Show. You've heard of The Muppet Show. Did it run over or under 5.5 seasons?
I'm going to go over, but I have no idea.
No, it was only 5 seasons. It ran from 76 to 81, believe it or not. And finally, Caveman, I'm going to make a tough one for you. Alice, Kiss My Grits. Alice, run over or under 5.5 seasons?
I'm going to say under.
No, it ran 9 seasons from 76 to 85, if you can believe it. So a lot of fun. Some of those shows lasted a lot longer than we thought. Some a little bit shorter than we thought, but overall it was a lot of fun.
Thanks for listening to Pop Goes Your World. You can contact Chris and Derek at popgoesyourworld.com. Please take a minute and review the podcast on iTunes or wherever you download and listen to the show.